Hello, gorgeous human being, and welcome back to Frequency with me, your host, Michael Edwards. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some of the ways that we can get hooked into old patterns and cycles in the name of growth. And I'm particularly talking about this right now because it's the New Year's, and a lot of people are in the energy of New Year's resolutions or New Year's, New You. And this can be a trap where we fall into what we think is growth, but is actually us just working against ourselves. And this is not going to be the way to create the ease, joy, alignment, prosperity that we want in our lives and in our businesses. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about how to align more deeply so you can be on purpose and experience greater levels of joy, freedom, fulfillment, and prosperity, but from this place of deep alignment rather than pushing and forcing. And so I wasn't planning on doing this today. This is actually a Saturday, and I was on the waterfront having a beautiful walk because it's sunny here on Vancouver Island this morning. And so we were taking advantage of that, having a beautiful dog walk near the sunrise. And I was speaking to a friend of mine, and she was sharing some of the things that she's doing for the new year. And she was talking about being super disciplined with her business and doing a no spending challenge and some of these different challenges. And I immediately recognized this is all in the old earth paradigm. This is a very 3D masculine energy pushing, forcing, way to try and create change and growth in yourself. And if you can recognize that you're someone that's doing this, you're likely not going to get the result that you want. And if any part of you that wants to come up and argue with that, I just simply ask you, well, have you done something like this before? And what was the result? If you made a change and then when you stopped doing the thing, you went back, then it didn't work. The things that we do that work, they spiral us up and forward. And the impact on our lives is ongoing and immeasurable. And that's what we really want to be doing. That's what we want to be creating. And that is what's available to us. And I say this as someone who, through my work, has helped multiple people, I think 3 people in the last 6 months, break through $100,000 months in their businesses. I've helped an emerging author go from living in this way where she was feeling, all of this like punishment and discipline energy and then shame where she was working against herself to try and bring her book to life and bring her vision to life, to living in such a deep place of alignment that she says, she's never felt this kind of freedom, and she's writing her book and it just feels like a dream. Something that people often say to me is, it feels like it's too easy. It feels like it's not real. And what I want to say to that is it gets to be that easy. That's what happens when we work from this place of alignment. I've also helped an incredible executive consultant go from sitting on the sidelines, working with much smaller clients and businesses than she dreamed of working with, to truly diving in and creating connections and doing business with very, very high level leaders and entrepreneurs and CEOs at, five to 10 times what she was charging before. And so I want to say that everything I'm about to say today is not just, this fairy tale wish is what it can sound like to some people. This is real, and this is backed up by results. And in my opinion, this is actually the most succinct way to get those results. And the thing is, it's not really going to be just about the results. It's actually going to be about just aligning to this deep truth of who you are and letting that come through, this pure expression of who you are, this pure heart frequency, allowing your innate gifts to arise, being on purpose, and knowing that that is actually what unlocks opportunity and your greatest levels of prosperity. And so I want to go into why this way of really disciplining ourselves or really forcing ourselves or constricting. That's what it feels like to me when someone says they're doing a no spending challenge, or they're, not going out, or they're not doing this thing. It feels like constriction. And one of the reasons that this isn't going to work is you've got to look at what belief system is behind that. And so When someone says they're doing something like a no spending challenge, it's likely that the belief behind that is, well, money is finite. I'm going to run out. The reason I don't have more money is because I've mismanaged my finances in the past, et cetera, et cetera. All of those beliefs and ways of being are out of alignment with the universal laws and the key money belief that we want to have, which is that money is infinite. And beyond that, energetically, I love to bring everything back to frequency. Those are all rooted in the frequency of fear. It's the frequency of, I've done something wrong. I've been a certain way in the past. I have to constrict myself. I have to control myself. I have to bring myself into rein to get myself to do what I want. I need to really buckle down and get serious in order to be successful. And that is what we were taught. That is the old earth way. That is the old earth paradigm. That is the old earth financial system. But that is not the way forward. And nothing, nothing, nothing will make your road to success long and slow and hard like moving from that energy. And remember, when it comes to frequency and energetics, we will always create the manifestation of the energy that we're creating it from. So it doesn't matter that the intention or the strategy is to cut spending so that we can have more money, because the frequency behind that is fear. And it's the belief of there isn't enough money. There isn't enough money unless I constrict and I hold on to more money. That's the literal definition of lack consciousness. And so it doesn't matter that what the strategy is. From that place, we can only create more lack. And I saw an example of this recently. I was at a social gathering in Vancouver, and there were, all these people I was just meeting, and they were standing around, and this conversation came up about their rental properties, and they all had rental properties, and they were all complaining about the expenses and how they're losing money on them and all these things. And I started thinking about it, and I spent a lot of my younger years in Vancouver. I spent a decade in Vancouver, kind of on and off. And I know there's a lot of weird money stuff there. And there's a really strong emphasis on buying real estate. You've got to buy real estate to win. That's for a lot of people believe that. It's the only way I'm ever going to get ahead is if I can buy real estate, multiple real estates, and have, a rental property or an Airbnb. And so I started thinking about, why do all these guys have real estate, but they're losing money? They're in lack. I could feel, I actually left the event quite early because I could just feel all the lack consciousness and in the room. And I was like, I don't want to be immersed in this. So I left. Those standards are everything. I started thinking about it after I left. I was like, well, why is this happening? Why are all these guys that have invested in real estate now suffering? And I was thinking about it, and they probably made all of those buying decisions from lack. So it was like, I can only make this much in my job. This is how much life is in Vancouver. The only way I'm going to get ahead is if I buy these rental properties, blah, blah, blah. And so you can see, even though buying real estate is strategically something that is supposed to increase our net worth and be an asset, if we make that decision from a place of lack, we can only create more lack. And that's where you get a room of people who have made this decision over the course of like the last decade, probably, that has been meant to bring them prosperity, but has only brought more lack. There were stories about how someone's agreement was wrong when they bought it, and so there were things that they didn't know, and the expenses were higher than they thought it would be. There was another one where the tenant destroyed the property, all these things, right? And of course, there are unexpected expenses with real estate, but we should definitely be able to make money there. I have lots of friends that are heavily invested in real estate and other things, and they're very, very prosperous. And it really doesn't matter the amount of money. I know lots of multimillionaires that are in massive lack, and lots of people that aren't in massive lack. And you can create prosperity. You can align to that frequency of prosperity and start creating more of that for yourself anywhere, any place. I did it when I had literally no money. And because of my understanding of the universal laws and the level of alignment that I have, I am just so in flow with money. It's so easy. It's such a thing that it's like easy to call in. It's easy to be supported by. It's just easy to be with. But anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic. So remember, you've got to look at whatever it is that you're doing in your material experience and go, what frequency am I creating it from? If you're hiring a mentor, if you're making an investment, if you're doing a challenge, the frequency that you're doing that in is going to impact it more than anything else. And a lot of us have this fear that If we don't push and force ourselves to do the thing, then we are just going to be lazy and unproductive, and we're never going to make anything of ourselves. But nothing could be further from the truth. When we align to who we truly are and how we're meant to live, and alignment looks different for everyone, that's when we get on purpose, and that's when we unlock true prosperity. And what happens a lot of the time when we do this is at first, we do kind of slack off. And I want to say being lazy, the idea of lazy is a shame word. So get rid of that from your vocabulary, get rid of that energy, stop shaming your past self. Stop telling a story about how you mismanaged money in the past. You cannot believe that money is infinite and believe that you've mismanaged money in the past. You can't. You've got to release the past. You've got to release anything that your old self did that you're shaming yourself about. That is in the past. It's ancient history. It's gone. It's done. So what I find happens when we've been kind of disciplining ourselves and punishing ourselves to move forward our whole lives, it is true that for a lot of people, when they finally take off the heel on their neck, that there is this time of rest and slowing down and integration. And it can feel like you're not being productive and it can feel like you're not getting anything done. But the most miraculous thing happens when we give ourselves the time and the space to come back to our natural rhythm, to align to our unique blueprint, and to make space in our lives. Making space is such a huge thing. It's when we're connected to our intuition. It's when we can really hear the guidance from our most expanded self. And that is when we are going to align to this path that feels like miracles, because it's the path that we're meant to walk. That's when we are connected truly to our genius. And so a lot of people do go through this uncomfortable period where it's like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like it's not going to happen. I feel like something's wrong. But as we get comfortable in that alignment, the things start to come through. I hear from clients all the time. I've been doing what you said. I've been making space. I've been just being with myself. I've been being present. And then all of a sudden, one day I woke up and I just felt like working out. I just felt like eating better. I just felt like writing my book. I just felt like doing this thing for my business. And those are the things that explode us. They take us to incredible places at speeds that we never thought possible. I know for myself, I see this in my health and fitness. I used to have such a painful relationship with my body. I would wake up in the morning and I would look in the mirror and I would just examine the way that I looked. And how I looked was how I felt about myself that day. And I was always exercising a lot and I was doing really fad diets, which I wouldn't have admitted at the time, but it's true. But the energy behind that is that I was punishing myself. My whole experience with being fit was punishing myself there. And then when I really came into more like therapy world and started to really embrace self-love, I started to love myself, and then I gained a bunch of weight, and I didn't care because I was like, "I love myself no matter what." But then as I had this space for the real me to emerge, I started to take better care of my body and my health, but it came from a different place. It came from this inside out place of alignment, of self-respect, of self-love, of this is who I am, and of pure joy and desire. And now I'm very happy with how I look, and there's no punishing energy that's coming into my relationship with health and fitness. It's just aligned. And I see the same thing all the time in business. I've gone through this myself and I've seen this in clients where when we actually create the space to listen, to receive the guidance from our highest self, from spirit, from source, from the universe, coming through the channel of intuition, and we move on those orders, we're going to have the most incredible results. And a lot of us just need to put down this feeling of needing to do and do and do for the sake of doing. If you don't have marching orders from source, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're just contributing to just this nonsense busy work. And I will tell you, I have built an incredibly successful business where I make what most people make in a year, in a month. And I have done that from such a place of alignment, not buying into, any of these things. I don't want to say a love-hate relationship with social media, but I have a relationship with social media where it's like the second I have to do it, I hate it. And so I have built this really posting and showing up in flow and in alignment with what feels good to me and the amount of resource that I have, and not making it mean that if I'm not posting every day, I'm going to fail. If I'm not doing these things to cater to the algorithm, that I can't make money. Let me tell you, I can make money. I have coded in that belief so deeply in my being that I can make money anytime, any place, anywhere, and that money is infinite. And I'm so in alignment with that belief that it's true for me because I am creating that reality from my energy, from my beliefs, and from who I'm being. And anybody can do that. It's so easy once you truly understand how. Some of the ways that we can see this or articulate it is in I feel like a lot of people are in this energy of chasing excellence. It's like, I'm striving for the next thing. I'm striving to be better. I'm striving to grow. And that striving energy is also part of that old earth template. It's part of the old way, the old paradigm. It's part of the wounded masculine. It's part of what's been programmed into us. And it's creating huge separation from all of the things that you want to feel and experience. And it's not reflection of who you truly are. So, if you desire excellence and if you're striving for excellence and it's not coming from an external place where you feel like you have to be that to please your father or society or whatever, to be valued by a partner of the opposite sex or of the same sex, and it's coming from a place where you truly desire excellence, then that's not something you have to chase. It's something you truly are. And so the work is not in chasing excellence, it's in I can feel this, like, you can feel that chasing energy. It's in exhaling, letting go of that, letting go of the need to chase anything outside of yourself and coming home to the recognition and the realization that excellence is just part of who you are. And so you want to reveal that within yourself. You want to look at anywhere that it's distorted, where you're in comparison, blame, shame, any lower frequency emotions, experiences, we're getting hooked in to stories or situations that create separation, and dissolve all of that and allow yourself to be in this oneness with who you truly are, which is already the frequency of excellence. That's not outside of yourself. It's something that you create resistance to yourself within yourself when you try to strive for something outside of yourself. So letting yourself be in harmony and alignment with that excellence that's part of the truth of who you already are. And if you can feel that as I tap into this, I can feel the sense of, that feels so much better in my body, even as I tap into that energetically. And that is going to be reflected in your reality. Luxury was a huge part of this experience for me. And, when I was younger, I had all the things that many of us had, relationship with success and money, and I wanted things for what other people thought or to be flashy or to prove something. And as I did my own inner work and all of that kind of dissolved away, I just gained this immense appreciation for luxury. And I also started to become fascinated around the time that I realized that you could literally map a frequency. And when I'm talking about a frequency, I'm talking about literally like vibrational waves where you can have a channel like a radio station and multiple things are on that channel. There's a frequency to luxury. And when I started to map the frequency of luxury, I started to look at the qualities that are on that frequency: care, quality, space. Space is such a big thing. Space is something. I really learned about space as something when I was learning more about decorating my first apartment. And I was doing all this research about getting better at learning how to be a good interior designer and how to choose really beautiful pieces. And I realized what I had never considered before is that the space is part of the design. So let's say you have this coffee table And before, what would happen is a lot of surfaces in my house would just collect objects. Like keys get put there, and then a book gets put there, and then something else gets put there. And then before you know it, there's cluttered spaces. And I grew up in a house that was like that. So it was very, it's like subconsciously wired in. And so that was, the thing was always like, well, clean up the stuff, clean up the stuff. But then it would be messy again. But when I designed my apartment and I started to look at the space as something, you get your little trio of objects. So you get the vase and then, the coffee table book and then the little necklacey looking chunky thing that's like falling off the coffee table book because we love the trio of things. That's what I learned. And then that is, you'd put that probably not centered, put that off center. And then on the other side, that's balanced by open space. And I start to look at this negative space, this surface area as something. It's the part of the design. It's the negative space. It's the nothing that balances this object. So now, subconsciously, if I put a book there that I've been reading, well, the book isn't just there because now it's like there's something there. The space is there. And so now I would see that as a conflict with the space, and I would just remove the book because I was like, oh, it's disrupting the space. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but as I start to see the space in my mind as something in my design, in my room, and in my physical space, I started to see space as something. And so we can apply this to other areas of our life, like our time, right? A lot of people have this relationship with their time where they go, oh, I need to schedule me time, or I need to do these things, and then there's always the best intentions, but then that gets filled up. And it's because that you're not thinking of the space as something. Space has to be something. The space, I give myself like 3 to 4 hours in the morning before I have anything scheduled because I like to wake up in whatever vibe I'm in. I like to do my energy work. I like to have all the time I want to eat. I want to have whatever teas or coffees I want to have in the morning. If I want to go for a walk with my dog, I want to have the time and space to go for a walk. If I want to gym, I want to have the time and space to gym. I don't want to be locked in to, and sometimes I wake up and I want to work. Sometimes literally I wake up, I barely even have both eyes open and I'm on my laptop and I'm working, but it's from this place of desire because there's that space. There's not a pressure, there's space, and that space is something. So it can be filled with things as I go, but we have to see space as something. So space is a big, I realized, piece of the frequency of luxury. So you can think about, the lobby of a luxury hotel will be beautifully curated, and generally there will be a lot of space. If you think about even the amount of people that are there, you might have a 3-star hotel that's got, I don't know, 500 to a couple thousand rooms, and it's a lower price point. There's just so many people. That's the thing. How many people can we get into this hotel? In a luxury hotel, there's often not that many suites. There can be sometimes maybe 100 suites, depending on the size of the hotel, but it's all quality. When you go to the pool at a 3-star hotel or like maybe an, all-inclusive resort, there's going to be masses and massive of people there and kids and busyness. When you go to the pool at a luxury hotel, I expect it to be like a spa. I expect there to be unfilled seats in between me and other people. I expect there to be cabanas where I can just go and have service of whatever you want and it's private. There's space. Space is on the frequency of luxury. Quality. True luxury is quality. I just bought the most beautiful pair of pants from an Italian designer, and you pick them up and you can just feel the quality and the stitching and just, oh, they're so gorgeous. I showed my mom who sews, and she said, "Oh my god, this stitching is incredible," right? A craftsman person in Italy probably like hand sewed or not hand sewed. I don't know how they do it, but sewed these pants. It wasn't just some factory assembly line. Quality, curation is on the frequency of luxury. And again, hotels are just such easy examples because we all experience them. If you think about the lobby of like a Best Western or something, there's probably some dated upholstery, furniture, whatever. They've probably got this fridge thing where you can buy stuff from. It's very function over form. When you go to a hotel or a luxury environment, it's form and function. It's stunning. Usually you walk in and there's a feeling. It's been curated. Someone thought about the furniture, someone thought about the scents, someone thought about the art, someone thought about the lighting. There's such a level of detail in all of the things. It's curated. The furniture in the room, the art in the room, it's curated. The way the room is set up, it's curated. It's thoughtful. It's quality. All of that is on a frequency. It's on the frequency of luxury, which is also on the frequency of wealth, true wealth, prosperous wealth, and it's on the frequency of excellence. And so those things that I just mentioned, those are things to apply to your life. So rather than I'm going to stop spending money, I'm going to force myself to work out every day, I'm going to like do this disciplinarian thing, forget that. Use frequency. Take these qualities, space, quality, curation, detail, care, 5 things. Apply those qualities to your life. Apply them to your home, your living space, to the way that you approach your business, to the way that you relate to your clients, to the way that you think about your schedule, the way that you manage your schedule, to the way that you interact with your team. That will put you on a much more prosperous, excellent frequency than any kind of striving energy, than any kind of proving energy, than any kind of strategy. I love the frequency of luxury so much. It's actually one of the key components of the Infinite Freedom Blueprint, the blueprint that I created for business owners, leaders, next level entrepreneurs to create unrealistic levels of alignment, power, prosperity, purpose, and wealth in their lives through this frequency work, through deeper alignment. So, this is something that absolutely you can apply to your life starting today. Because the truth is, there's no separation between life and business, especially at a high level. Being an entrepreneur, being self led, your personal life mirrors your professional life. Your emotional intelligence mirrors your financial results. That is just the reality. Your frequency mirrors the opportunities that present themselves in your life. When you're playing at a high level, it's always an inner game. True business, when you're playing at a really high level, is this incredible journey of self realization because you have to become the person that can hold the business. You have to become the person that can hold the responsibility. You have to become the person that can hold the clients, that can hold the financial results. And it forces you to constantly lean into these uncomfortable edges and work through them and self-realize and self-realize and self-realize and cultivate more resource within yourself, which is really just the integration of all of your fragmented, disowned parts. A lot of people call this healing. I really call it the reintegration of all the parts that you disintegrated in the first phase of your life. And it's the revealing of who you truly are, the things that you truly desire, your highest desires are like these breadcrumbs that guide you to this truth of who you are. And we spend so much energy staying in a fragmented state and trying to achieve rather than bringing all the pieces back together and moving from this place of inner harmony, from oneness within ourselves and our own fields, and oneness with all things, with source, with the divine, with God, with the universe. And it's from that place that we realize in our material reality everything that we desire because that material reality is the energetic match for who we truly are. And it will come in this way that feels so good and from such a place of alignment, not from trying to go and get it, but from uncovering and being who you really are. And I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that we don't have to show up and actually be the business owner and do the things, but it's a very different experience than the way that we were taught to operate. That old earth template, it sucks. I'm just going to say that. It is horrible way to live. It's a horrible way to operate. It's a way to live that leads to, people that get to the end of their lives and they just have such regret and feel that they sacrificed so much of what life is meant to be and the quality of life in order to succeed. And without the awareness of frequency, a lot of the times we can just look at that and go, oh, well, success is bad or achievement is bad or ambition is bad, power is bad or wealth is bad. None of that is true. It's just that everything has a shadow and everything has a gift. And it's our work in understanding the frequency of things in order to align with the gifts, what which we first do by aligning, by raising our frequency and our vibration in ourselves so that we can be the eh, gift expression of ambition, so that we can be the gift expression of wealth, so that we can be the gift expression of prosperity, so that we can be the gift expression of business. That's what high frequency business is. It's operating in the gift expression. That's what New Earth business is. It's operating from this higher vibrational place of alignment with your most expanded self, with the collective, in harmony with nature, and alignment with the highest good for all. And this is something very serious, very real, that is very doable for anyone, no matter how unrealistic this may sound to you, no matter how far away it may sound or feel. You can do this too. You are the universe in human form. You are an infinite being. You have infinite possibilities. This is the work that I do with people. I see people every day align to this truth and realize things that they never imagined possible with a greater levels of joy and fulfillment than they ever imagined. This is also the way that I've built my business, and I am so friggin' proud of the way that I've built my business, especially in the last year, really standing for what I believe, releasing things that I learned as like traditional marketing tactics or traditional ways of doing business or traditional strategies, things like hooking people from their fears, things like going into convincing energy, things like feeling like, pressuring people to close sales. I don't think like that. I treat my clients with such a respect. And because of that, I get to work with the most incredible people. I wake up and I just count my blessings every day because of the extraordinary people that I have in my world, particularly my private clients and those in my mastermind, Lux Familia. I just get to work with the most inspiring, exciting, alive, awakened people and help them compound more success and just more magic in their lives. It's so incredible, but that didn't just come about. I had to really, through this journey of trial and error and deep learning and, learning by contrast and facing what was in my shadow and really doing this inner work and getting out of the mindset of trying to find the thing that's going to work and instead aligning to what I truly believe in and moving only from that place and going, maybe it'll take me longer. Maybe things won't happen quite as quickly as if I had just done this done for you marketing strategy that preys on people's pain points. Or maybe it is faster. I don't know. But the point is, I created it from this frequency and I can see the effect that it's having. I can see the compounding that's happening. I can see what's happening with the way people are coming into my world. And, other people in other industries and other businesses look at me all the time and it's like, well, how are you doing this? You're not doing any of the things that you're supposed to have to do to have a business and have the results that you have. And it's because I'm moving from that place of frequency first, from that place of alignment and trust. And above all, I create the space to listen to the guidance from the universe and from my most expanded self. And I love business. There's a lot of people out here, that think that business is evil, that we need to get rid of money, that are anti business, anti-establishment, all these things. But the reality is our world is built on business and the systems that are in place have created the advancement that we get to live from today. And so what I really believe is that it's not we don't need to break everything down and start from scratch because a lot of the things that have been idealized have been proven not to work the way that people imagine that they would work. The systems that we have are more robust and work in more ways than people realize. What the opportunity is, I believe, is the opportunity for refinement. I believe that we get to refine the way that we do business in this expanded state of consciousness, in this high frequency business way that's in alignment with the good of all. And so, what I really believe is that as we change the way we do business, we also get to change the world. And I'm on a mission to help people create lives and businesses that exist in alignment with these high frequency new earth principles, in alignment with the universal laws, where we live our lives and create our businesses in harmony with community, with prosperity, with our purpose, with our innate gifts being realized, with nature, where we're in harmony with the planet instead of against it, where we're so awakened and conscious that everything that we're doing is so beautifully intentional and that life, for the most part, is pleasure, it's enjoyable, it's desire. I see these masculine business influencers all the time that will say, well, you can't just do whatever you feel like. No, you can't just do whatever you feel like because you haven't done the inner work. You haven't organized your inner world. So the only way you know is to force and push and grind. But that way of being sucks. When you find true alignment and you organize your inner world, you will create the greatest things in your life from a place of pleasure, from a place of desire, from a place of being called to them rather than this horrible forcing, punishing energy that we've all been sold into. So, if you are interested in doing this work with me, it would be my honor to have you. I have a couple of spaces that are open right now to come into, and they really relate to the different places that we are in our journey. So, I'm going to do more episodes on this later, but there are some key points in our journey of evolution. And we can't progress further until we've mastered certain things. And we may be on a spectrum with this. So we may be more about what I'm going to talk about. We may be more in business and the independence part, but the one of the skills I'll say that supports that is the emotional intelligence component. So if you have unresolved stuff, maybe you feel like you need some therapy or you need to do some healing, or you just know that you've got some stuff in the shadows, some skeletons in the closet, and maybe the way you show up is you're like, well, I don't really have time for that because I'm focusing on my business and I want to really take things to the next level this year. But you have that inner work that's just kind of undone. That's just shadowy stuff that's somewhere. A lot of the times people have been afraid to deal with it. You must deal with that to actually get to the next level. You cannot truly progress until you've cracked the code on this emotional intelligence piece. So that means dealing with any past stuff you have, healing any, trauma, old cycles, old patterns, healing the relationship with yourself, self-love, self-image, self-worth, healing your relationship with money, healing your relationship with family members, getting to this place where there's no part of you that regresses to an emotionally volatile or reactive way of being. Same thing if you have a lot of vices, like if you go into binging on food or binging on Netflix or just binging on anything, any kind of addictive behavior, self soothing behavior that's really a problem if you're honest with yourself. This has to be cracked. You must heal and integrate that before you can move on. And so the container that I hold for that is called the breakthrough experience. It's a 6-month container and it's limited to a small group of people because I find that this part is really important that there's one on one time. And so there are 2 calls a month, which are hot seat. So it's one on one with me, but in with the group. And it's really devoted to making sure that you get a lot of that time so that I can help you recognize, work through, and untangle your stuff. And that's going to be not just consciously, but unconsciously and energetically, which is what's really going to move the needle. In addition to that, we're going to have an integration call every month where we're going to just talk through the conscious work and kind of the self stewardship around the work that we're doing. And you get access to the essence, which is the core of my teachings. So there's an entire library where there's programs and master classes on all kinds of topics from money to relationships to leadership to intuition, all these different things, and are really going to help you support in that journey. Plus, you get access to my monthly program or masterclass inside the essence. So there's going to be at least one thing added to the essence every month, which you'll be able to attend live or you'll get the recording of. And so that is the breakthrough experience. It's $440 per month for 6 months or $2,640 paid upfront. And this is a container where people register for it and then it's closed. People can't just come in the whole time because obviously we're doing this deep inner work. So we want to get really comfortable. We want to get really safe with the group. And so the registration, we start in February and registration will close at the end of February. And then it will be a closed container for 6 months. And so you'll be with the same group, the same pod of people to walk through in this experience. This is an incredible container. This will be my third time running it. And every time the results are amazing and they just get better. I've had multiple people message me recently who were in our last month of the second round of the breakthrough experience and just say how transformational it's been for their lives, just how unbelievable the results have been and how much more comfortable with themselves, more peace with themselves, more confident and more aligned with their businesses. A lot of them are. A lot of them have healed their money stuff and are starting to experience the results of that in just so much more financial overflow. It really is an incredible container. And so again, we're starting in February and going for 6 months. And the price for that is $440 per month or 2,640 paid upfront. Now, for the person who's already really closed that, and I want to say that healing, growth, whatever you want to call it, is ongoing. There's always going to be layers that we're peeling up. But for the person who knows, like, that's done, I've done my season of healing and I'm beyond that. Now I'm in this season of expansion. I'm in this season of stepping into possibilities. Maybe these high frequency business principles, these new earth business principles that I'm talking about, those really spark your interest and you're thinking, I want to apply that to my life. Maybe you're already having financial success, huge financial success, but it comes with this sacrifice or it comes with this overwhelm or it comes with this heaviness. And you really want to grow into that more alignment, more ease, more truth, more exponential growth in your business, in your finances, more, really tuning into your innate gifts and living by your authentic blueprint, then the place for you is going to be Lux Familia, my mastermind. This is a space that's ongoing, so you can join at any time. I am very intentional about who I have in this space. So you're going to be in an incredible group of leaders who are doing amazing things on the planet, amazing things in their businesses. We have the most incredible conversations here. We take this frequency work, my understanding of human behavior and psychology. We learn the infinite freedom blueprint. We apply it to our businesses and our lives, and people get just the most incredible exponential results, financial results, personal results. And just what I really see above everything else is that people step fully into who they truly are right now. And it is just, it is my favorite thing on the planet. I'm so thrilled and honored to host this space. So that is Lux Familia. And again, we have three, three mastermind calls per month. And then we also have a mastermind Telegram group. So there's 3 Telegram days with me a month where you can drop in your voice notes and we can kind of go back and forth. You can get guidance and mentorship around whatever's coming up. There's a little bit more emphasis in that as well as learning your own energetic tools, your own practices. And then you also get access to the essence. So you're also going to get access to this library of past programs. And the essence is that what it's named. It's the essence of my work. It's the core of all my teachings. So there's going to be, if you have a problem or a topic or a thing, there's going to be a masterclass on that. And if there's not, you can tell me and I'll add one. And then you're going to get those monthly essence things as well. There's usually going to be a masterclass or a program on a specific topic, and then we are going to go deeper into that in Lux in the mastermind. We really deepen it and we really personalize the work so you can apply it to your life, your business specifically. We can untangle anything that's getting in the way in your subconscious or energetically. And so you can get those incredible exponential results that I know are available to you. And just to give some financial guidelines too, to be in Lux, you need to have a business system that's already working. You should be doing at least 10,000 per month, like at minimum 10,000 per month or be so close. Most of the people that are in there are working on minimum $500,000 a year in their businesses, like minimum. And so there already needs to be that financial stability and that business stability. It's not really the container for I'm just finding my way. It's really for the container of I'm already good at what I do. I'm already a visionary. I'm already an expert at my thing. And now let's just take it and integrate everything and compound, 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 compound. And so Lux is 1750 a month or 9,450 pay in full for 6 months. It is a 6 month commitment. I'm very invested in this space. And when you come into this space, I'm very it's we're shared. We're in this very invested co-creation space. And so what I really ask is that you come and walk with me for at least 6 months so that you can truly experience the work. So you can truly give yourself the opportunity to get a substantial, measurable result. And then after that, it's month to month. So you can stay or you can leave at any time. So again, that's Lux Familia, my mastermind. It's 1750 a month or 9,450 for 6 months. And finally, if you are extremely high level at what you do, if you're already, a world-class expert, visionary leader, if you're the CEO of a company, if you have immense pressure, if you're a celebrity or a public figure that's in the public eye, and there's just incredibly high stakes, and you're operating already at an incredibly high level, I also have very limited spots, but for one-to-one mentorship. This is definitely going to be someone who's doing a very high financial result. Probably 500,000 to really a million a year minimum is what will make sense for this offer. And I offer a 6 month mentorship period where where you have the opportunity to have one-to-one sessions with me, to have Telegram days. There's a lot of flexibility in the schedule. It's really meant to support you, not overwhelm you. So we have regular meetings, but it's set up so that I'm there for you almost on call retainer, like a member of your team, rather than locking you into a lot of things. I know people that are working at this level are very our time is just so valuable and don't want to be coming to calls unless we actually need them. But what's beautiful is when we walk together for that period of time, I really get to know you. I really get to utilize all of my gifts and my skills and my wisdom to the highest level in helping you find this deeper alignment and just come into this full expression and realization of your potential and who you really are. And, because I work with so many high profile individuals, discretion is such an important value for us. Nobody knows a lot of the high profile people that I've worked with because of the level of discretion, because we don't share that publicly. And so you can trust in that the work that we do together is going to be private and I'm going to be cheering you on behind the scenes, but really you're going to get the support that you need and to just really bring your vision and your potential and whatever it is that you're creating to life in a whole new way. And this is generally a custom bespoke experience. So there is some flexibility in how we structure it, but it is a six-figure investment. That's the level that we're playing at. So if you are interested in any of these offers, you can check the links below or feel free to send me a DM. Usually Facebook Messenger is honestly the best. That's the place that I'm the most responsive. And I can answer any questions that you might have or get you any links that you may need. But I just will give you this final thought. Our mind is hardwired to take us back to what's familiar. And so if you've been, doing traditional leadership work, doing traditional personal development work, doing challenges like this, and your life goes like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then like this, and you're working, but you're working against yourself and you're not seeing the progress that you want for the amount of energy that you're putting in, you will keep repeating that until you do something different, until you do something that's unfamiliar, because the work that you're doing is the work that you already know. It's the work that is already familiar to you. So you must step into something that's unfamiliar. So I really encourage you, if you felt called to my world, called to my work, called to the results that you see my clients getting, but there's a part of you that just doesn't quite get it, that's actually the perfect sign that this could be the thing for you because it's outside your comfort zone. It's outside of what you've tried. It's outside of what you know. You must take a step outside of what's comfortable and familiar to you in order to get a different result. If you keep doing the things that are just normal in your sphere of awareness, you're going to just keep getting the same result. That is universal law. There is no exception to that. You must step out into something different. So whether it's working with me or something else, you must take that leap. And I would really encourage you because our highest self really has the pieces that are going to be the most valuable and that are going to move the needle on our life and our career the most. If you feel intuitively called to one of these containers, but your mind is like, I don't really like understand or I don't really honor that intuition. Reach out, send me a message. Let's have a conversation and talk about it because that mental talking you out of things that you feel intuitively called to is certainly the number one reason that you're not already further ahead. And I say further ahead with air quotes because that really is an illusion. But that mental chatter, that mental talking ourselves out of thing causes more problem and more slowdown than anything else. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this was helpful. I'd be so appreciative if you give the show a follow, if you leave a comment or a review. It helps so much. And thank you for joining me today. My name is Michael Edwards. I'm sending you so much love and bye for now. Bye, everyone.